Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Adam with ND72. So today we're going to be doing something to one of my cars that you saw a little bit on the channel. This is going to be something that I think is going to help out a lot of people out there, and a few questions about it, and it's something I haven't done before, but I kind of have done it before. And I saw this product and I thought it'd be cool because now I kind of need it. So what we got here is my CLS55 2006. So the CLS55, it's got VRP intake, it's got a 77 fixed pulley from VTEC. It's got a VTEC tune. It's got long tube headers that are ceramic coated, and then basically the factory finishing up exhaust on this car. It's also got a upgraded heat exchanger up there, if you can see, upgraded pump, and it's got the cool little reservoir right there. So it's not a bad build, but it's nothing crazy. So the whole point of this build was to do something that like a lot of the main people are going to do, a lot of the average people are going to do for like a straight up, how do I say this, like street driven, daily driver car, nothing too crazy, not a crap load of power, nothing that you're worrying about too much with heat or anything like that. So like I said, it's got not an aggressive pulley, it's just a 77, so it's not like a crazy amount of boost. It doesn't have like a trunk tank ice box, it just got that little reservoir one, which is kind of standard what people got. It's got nothing really crazy done to it. Nothing like my E55 that is running stacked pulleys, that is running drag radials all the time, that runs a 7.5 gallon tank in the rear, that's got 92 millimeter throttle body, all this other stuff done to it. This was more of a basic build setup that we did. We tried something new stuff like the VRP intake, just little things like that. So what we're going to be doing today is something that I think a lot of people will be maybe doing soon, because it's going to delete an issue that I've been having a big problem with. So as you can see, it is literally dropped to the ground, lowered all the way down. This had factory air ride suspension when we bought it, and things were breaking left and right. We already had to replace one bag in the rear, and then we had some level sensor things that broke, the level sussing arms that broke on the rear, one or two little things, but finally, the whole unit just take to poopy out. Most likely it's the pump up front, but I was tired of spending money into this setup. Yeah, the air ride's cool. Yeah, it feels good. But it just is so much problematic. And as you can see, the car is dropped and low to the ground, and it stranded me. So I had to get it basically towed home because I could not drive it, and I was just super not a fan of that. Now, over here, same thing. I got rid of my air suspension on the E55. I love how it drives. I love how it is. It's much more sporty, feels so much more safer, and I never got to worry about any more of that air ride suspension. So on the E55, we went a full BC coil-over suspension kit up. I could adjust the height, I could adjust shocks, I could adjust all this cool stuff. I did have to, for the rear, get some of those coil arms to go in for the rear for underneath. So this one took a little bit of work. But now for this car, we're going to fix it and make it never break like this, but do a little bit different setup. All right. So what we got the car was, we had a few options to go with this. I could have went to BC, and then I had to get all the other, basically, sprockets, or not the sprockets, the purchase, and all the other stuff. But what I found online, and I found this on eBay, this is a coil, or air-to-coil conversion kit. It's multiple boxes, it's just one of the boxes. This place is local to Florida. It's not that far from me. I contacted them. They said this should bolt directly up to this car. So no more going and getting used lower control arm parts and hoping this and hoping that. No more of that. This kit should take care of everything. It should come with basically springs, adapters for the purchase. It should come with everything. The only thing we did not opt with this kit was they come with a little control box. I don't know if they still did, but they did when I purchased this. There's a control box you to order to eliminate it from your dash. But I know how to do it with a star and just code it out, so that saves us some money. This whole kit was roughly $500, which that is astronomically cheap. It should be coming with coil springs, so coils all over, all four shocks, everything, and it should be a complete kit to bolt right on and go. So we're going to see if it is. We're going to start with opening this box. Now I'll put a link all below with the brand and all that stuff. Well, let's see. So this box, and let me actually put this on the floor, and I'll show you what everything is as I pull it out. Here's the first box. Boom. So what I was very happy with, I wanted to make sure, this is for the front. This is a complete fixed shock absorber and coil. So McPherson strut, a full assembly. So now the difference between these and the BCs, these are not adjustable. This is nothing. But this car is not to build like a race go fast. We just wanted something that was a little bit better and we don't have to worry about the air ride anymore. So this comes with new nuts, new everything. You don't have to worry. These should bolt directly up. So that's going to be one box, which I'm very happy. It comes with a coil. I think it even comes with a little warning. Yeah. Literally just says that they're springs. Let the car settle. Very, very easy to say. Let's see what comes in the other boxes. So now we got one of the other boxes opened up. So this one looks like it has, let me scooter on over, a rear spring. Ooh, so this is all rated for the weight of the CLS55. This should be all perfect. I'm going to have to figure out which side goes up and down. And now the second part of this box is what the real kicker is. So if anyone knows from the CLS, whenever you have the air ride with the E55 and the CLS, the control arm's different. This perch is supposed to be the adapter to fit right on here. So it should go something like this. We'll have to look at, oh, not that side. It should fit right there. And then all this stuff will go into the top. So I'll have to look, do a couple, oh, I think it actually sits just like that. And this should bolt on to the exact mounting point of the airbag. Because if you remember the airbags, the perches are different. So this should go right on. And then it also comes with even more stuff. So this kit comes with lots of goodies. We got more. So now the last part of this kit. It comes with, so this part of the kit you could buy individually too, from my understanding. It is a E-Class, even says CLS55 E-Class, blah, blah, blah. Static shock conversion kit. So now these are for the rear. They literally are to go from those pneumatic, or not the pneumatic, the basically controllable shocks to a standard shock formation. It comes with all the pads and all that stuff. So you can put these right on the rear. Also, what I was looking, I could do, if we ever want to get this car a little bit more zippy, once we have this base kit all set up, which we have, if I want to go with, how do I say, an adjustable shock, once with this kit, I can just go buy adjustable BCs, just a shock, or whatever brand, and they should bolt right in. Now that I have all this kit. So that's basically everything it comes with. There's probably more pieces inside, but we'll work on that as we go. So I'm going to pull the CLS in. We're going to clean up the shop a little bit, and then we're going to start ripping the car apart, and hopefully this is as easy to install as it says it is. So we're going to try to take you step by step. I'm going to try to show you little things here, little things there. My setup might be a little bit different than other people's because as you saw, my CLS is already lowered, like not lowered, but it's already slammed on the floor because the bags are shot. So your bags are not shot. You might have to do a little bit different things just to deflate the bags. One way to do this, I do not fully recommend this. This is not if anyone gets hurt, blah, 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 blah. I've done this before in the past. If you take a drill bit, you can deflate your shocks. Or you basically go into your star computer and there's a deflate button your way, but mine's already trashed, so there's not really any way I can show you how to do it. So this should pull out pretty easily, and it should be roughly the same way as yours. I've done shocks, or rear bags and front bags with them inflated. It's not that hard, but take it at your own risk, but we're going to show you how to do this whole kit and everything, and I'll put links below and all that stuff. But we're going to try to do a step-by-step, so some people, if you do get a little bit bored with the step-by-step, you can keep clicking through, throw a comment down. Some of my videos might be a little bit longer than normal, but we're trying to do a little bit more step-by-step videos, and then we'll take the CLS for a test drive, and I'll actually tell you how these feel. And I can compare it to my E55, because I had BC coils on my E55 for roughly, I want to say like 2 years and change, so I know how they feel, and I know how an air ride setup feels, because I had the CLS, and I've been driving that around. So let's get to it. Let's start pulling this car in and ripping it apart. Hopefully we don't break it, but I don't think we will. Alright, I'm going to say one thing. I do have a lift. My lift is pretty low pro, I guess. This car is so dropped in the rear, I couldn't even get it on. So what I did is I just put some little wood, and I drove up on it, and that gave me just enough room, like it just barely clears. So we're going to lift this car up now, and start cracking at it. So we start by just removing the wheel and slide it out of the way, and then I'm going to start examining everything and see what we're working with here. So, with my light on, what it's looking like. So here's the actual, like, shot of the spring, their version of the airbag, and there's the shock. So we're going to be removing those two. So that perch looks like it'll fit perfectly here. So the other ones, like when you get a BC, it's a spring that goes in there without that cool perch, and you have to get a whole different lower control arm. I made a whole video about it, and I'll put a link down somewhere for how to do it with the BC coilovers if you don't get this kit. But what it's looking like is I need to swing this arm down. So that should be a triple square right there. I'll see which one it is. But to even get any tool in there, I got to get this arm swung out of the way. So I'll go get some tools. We'll break all these bolts off. I'll tell you what they all are, and we're going to start dropping this down, and hopefully this goes pretty easy. All right, so we're going to start. First thing I'm going to do is get this arm to be able to swing and move around. So what this bolt should be right here, it is a Allen 10, and on the other side, it is a 18. So you just basically take your Allen 10. I'm using hand tools just because, I don't know, I'm being an idiot. But you're going to take it. Break this loose. Make sure you're holding the nut from the back. And then I'm going to swing this one all the way out. Let me actually get that on there. That way I could actually have some movement to try to get to that triple square in the back. And because I want more of this free, so it's easier for me to get stuff. But once you break it loose by hand, I'm going to grab some actual power tools and start making it go a lot quicker. Don't drop your stuff. Oh, and heads up, that's under a little bit of a tension. So just be careful. Okay, now that you can move this arm, you have plenty of room to get your triple square in there. And that triple square is going to be a... Where's the little camera? I have a focus. It's a 12. And if you look at triple squares, they look... Sorry for the focus. Focus in, Mr. Camera. See how they kind of look like that? So now you can fit yours once you just swing this bar out of the way a little bit. It'll go right in there. I'm going to try to get a little better shot. There you go. It's kind of hard to get an angle because I got my exhaust right here, but it's going to be right there, and it's easier if you hold this up. See how much more room I got, and then I did that bolt? So you're going to undo that triple square, and then there's a nut on the back too. Let's swing that around. Right up there. You see it? So we're going to drop that off, and then be careful, because this is definitely going to be under some tension. And then this control arm should drop down. Before we do getting all that out, I'm going to break these bolts loose. That way it's not all flopping around. This should be a 21 millimeter. This I got to figure out what it was. So we're going to first break all these loose, then we'll work on that one. So we got the 21 loose, and we got the 16 loose, which is this one. Now, I didn't undo it from the shock tower up top because I wanted to kind of hold this in place a little bit. And now we're going to start working on breaking that one loose. And I'm going to put something under here because I don't remember how much tension these are under. I don't think it's going to shoot out like a bomb, but I just want to be safe. So I can start getting this out and getting access to all the plugs up there. Because since we're going to be deleting this air ride, I don't really need any of that stuff. So let's get my triple square back out and start going at it. All right, so we got our triple square on there with our 18 in the back. And we're going to just slowly do this. I got my little holder there. And I got to tell you my holder is going to get in the way. But I just want to be safe. Now I got the nut loose on the back. We'll put that aside, and now we'll hook up our triple square to the gun. I didn't want to put the triple square in the gun just because I really didn't want to break it. But now that it's all loose, this should help spin it out, and then this will drop down. Let's see if I even can get the gun in there. If not, I might have to do some sort of like crazy stuff. Yep, doing crazy stuff. Hold up. Aha, extensions. Man's best friend. Because I really don't want to remove this exhaust. Okay, fun little trick to get this bolt out right here. If you can see, let me get a little bit light. I'm going to be taking my 18 and just popping it right out. And then it should drop. Keep working on it and be careful. Try not to have any of your hand or body under this in case it does pop. Because I don't remember if it will. But we're going to go up with this control arm a little bit. Take tension off. So just be careful. All right, one thing I did to help like move the exhaust out of the way a little bit is you loosen these little brackets, and then you can wiggle your exhaust. Okay, so we're at this part of the airbag. So we got all these bolts loose. None of this really dropped down. I still have a bolt going in there just to hold that shock a little bit because I have to get in the trunk to loosen over there. But we're at the point where, if you can see, I could shake this down, and I'm going to pull this spring out right now. So as you see right there, can you see in there? I literally just popped this down really good. So you just pop that down, and then you got this as a plug, which I'm going to get some screwdrivers and unplug it, and this is an air line. I'm just going to snip this because we don't even need this system anymore. And then over there, you see here's another air line right there in the back. Come on, focus. I'm just going to get a Phillips screwdriver. I don't think that's factory. I think they have a different clip. But I'm going to go pull this off and start getting this whole airbag out. But I know it's kind of crappy to see angles, but we're going to try to show you as much as I could. All right, now that you got like everything unhooked, you should be able to just, I'm going to do this with 2 hands, pull this down, and this will slide right out. So here's the factory style, and here's the aftermarket one. So how it's going to sit is you're going to have your little cushion, and then this top hat should go on. I'm going to have to see which way it goes. It definitely feels it fits 500 times better like this. And then this is the bottom piece. That should match right up there. So we're going to make sure this kind of slides in there. And from looking at it, I'm most likely, because you saw how hard it was, well, not how hard, but how to get this one out, I'm going to have to figure out, I might have to compress this stupid coil. I'm hoping I don't, because I'm going to have to go get some coil compressors. If I do, it is what it is, but we're going to see if we could actually slide it in without that, but I don't think so. All right, next thing we're going to do, if you could see back there in the bottom corner, stupid focuses, I'm just trying to rip this stupid car apart, so I'm getting frustrated. You see right here? I can't shove the camera back there, but right there, there's a 16. That's going to be the top of the shock. Let's see if I can get a little bit of it. Right there. Let's try to shove this light, because I don't want to pull too much of this trim out, because I could get right in there perfectly good with my hand. You see it right there? That's going to be a 16, and then you're going to whiz that off, and that shock should come out. So now you got that 16 mil bolt out there. Keep all your stuff from up top, and then this will just wiggle right out under your plug. I'm going to pull it all out right now. All right, so this is the old style, and this is the new style. Like, holy crap, the weight difference is extreme. I might pull a scale and actually see, like, what's the weight difference between just dropping all this stuff and going on this. You probably save quite a bit of lbs. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the shock. Basically, you just got to kind of build it up so it gives you with all these little pads right here. So just kind of put them all on there, and then it's going to go the exact same way you took the other one out. It's going to go up. You'll tighten this bolt through the trunk, and then you put that bolt on the bottom. Reuse all the same factory hardware, and then move on to the spring. Hopefully, it should go on pretty easy. So now we got this bolt. I flipped it around. Hopefully, that doesn't cause any issues. And we got it just like pushed up there for the shock. We're going to see we still should have somewhat of movement with this, and we're going to try to shove this in. The direction said you have to maybe collapse this. We're going to try without to. So this is how the pad's going to go up. So we're going to go put this up in there first, shove it in there, and then go with the spring. I'm going to try to show you as much as I could, but this is going to be impossible with one hand. And to set the camera up, I can't get any angle without my body being in the way. Ironically, that was super easy. It literally will snug right in. Just what you got to remember is this perch, from what I'm understanding, you see how it has like a slight angle? This is going to be the thicker side. If not, I'm going to have to pull it out and twist it, but that's how it looks like it goes. So we're going to start pushing it all in there. And you see how much more room you got? So I'm going to throw this bolt in there. And I think this one's going to hold all the tensions. That's where we're going to have to get our jack under. All right, so we got all the bolts in. Basically, everything's bolted in. You just do it the reverse order. It goes in really smoothly. So we just did this side so far. I'm going to do that side next. But I just want to see how it looks. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop it and see what the ride height is. So that's not really that bad. Like, granted, these rims are dark, so everything's crappy. We'll see better once it's all there, but that's not that bad ride height for these. It might drop a little bit more. For whatever reason, these rims, these tires just look so puny, and they're 285s. Definitely need some spacers to fill it out. I never, like, noticed that before. Maybe just how it sits, it's more, like, cambered in. We'll probably have to get this car aligned afterwards, because let's see what the other side, the factory side looks like, because I didn't touch this side yet. Now they're both all filled out like that. So now I showed you the rear, I'm going to show you one of the fronts. So this is the the mirror fix, the strut, the shock, everything all combined that you're going to be replacing with a strut tower assembly. What you're going to do is be unplugging this plug, which is basically going to go all the way into there. And then all the air lines and all that stuff are under the hood. I'll show you the top. We're going to start doing the bottom first. So first, how I'm going to do it is this nut right here, which is a 21. So you got a bolt and a nut. So we're going to break those loose and then go up from the top and see if we can compress this by hand and pull it out. If not, we might have to break some more stuff loose, but let's start knocking that out. All right, so we broke that bolt loose over there. We put the nut over to the side over there. It's also a 21 nut. Now we're going to lower the car and start doing these 13 mils up there and doing those plugs. All right, next you got some 13s right around here. So there's one, and then there's one back there. So I'm just going to buzz them off with my gun. We're going to see how tight these are first. All right, they come right off. I'm also going to, before I do all that, I'm going to start undoing some of these plugs. So you got the plug right there. Pretty easy to come out. And then you got this air line. I'm going to wait to snip it until I'm sure that I could actually wiggle this out this way. So I left one nut on, the easy one to get to in case this thing drops too much. See how it's already dropping? Let me actually grab this nut because I don't want to lose it. Put that nut right over there. And then knock the rest out. And see if this thing will drop enough where I can wiggle it out without removing more stuff. Alright, now I'm going to take this nut off because it didn't really drop that much. Let's see if I could actually push this down and compress this. Nah, but we'll go from the bottom. So mine won't come out. I was hoping it was so blown it would come out. But what we're going to do is we're going to remove the upper control arm from basically the rest of the spindle. So right here is a 16. So just whiz off this 16 and do know this is going to drop. So have like bungee cords or even a jack under here to make sure it's safe when it does drop, and this might spring up. But just be cautious with that, and I'll knock mine out. All right, now that you got this popped out, it's pretty easy as long as these aren't like blown apart. And then I put my nut back up there so I don't lose it. Now, if you do blow one of these out, the ball joints, see mine's actually isn't that good. But they're pretty easy to replace at this point because literally it's just 3 bolts there. And then they slide right in and out. So I'd recommend you replace them at this point because they're so effing cheap. I'll try to find someone, put a link below because I might be replacing mine just because they got quite a bit of play. And then now we're going to pull that 21 bolt out. And I should have enough playroom to move all this stuff around. And I got my jack under there. You guys can use other stuff to support it. Just make sure you're not supporting it on your wire. See how mine are still loose? So we're good on that. All right, now that we got everything loose, I could take this one top bolt over here fully out. Because you see the whole shock basically drop down onto it. And that's the only thing holding it right now. So we're going to come back with our handy dandy 13. And take it out. And hopefully it doesn't drop too far. And it dropped all the way down. See? Pretty easy. And then you come down here, see how much it dropped? I should be able to wiggle this out. So we're going to start doing some wiggling and pull that out. Here's the factory compared to the new one. So they look like they're all bolted up. It looks like it'll go in there easily. This is, I measured it, it's actually, so ironically, these setups, this is 2 pounds heavier than that one. But if you remember the rear, okay, the rear was actually heavier. So we're losing some weight in the front and gaining a little bit of weight in the rear, which that's not that bad. But now we don't ever have to worry about these stupid airbags or something blowing out. So we'll start throwing this in. It should be the same way, just reverse. If there's any other tricks, I'll actually show you. But it should be pretty straightforward. I'm going to slide up and do the top first, then the bottom, and start putting everything back. All right, so we got everything back together. I got everything loose by hand, just because I want to make sure. One thing I didn't realize, or I should have known this from before, this strut will only go in a certain way. So the easy way to tell is where these bolts are lined up. See how these two are close and that one's far away? Let me get a little better. Yeah, see, too close, far away. And you got to make sure that the fork, if I can actually get back in there, is going the right way. So everything's good. We're going to snug it a little bit and then do the final tightening when I got load on it, which I'm going to use the jack for that. Because never really tighten suspension components with no load. So best to do it if it was on the ground, but I'm going to mimic a load with that. Not bad. So unfortunately, the little ball joint did break as we were trying to install it, so we just went on Amazon, ordered these. I got a set of 2 of them for like 30 bucks, and it's going to be so much better to do this job while I'm here. These are pretty easy to do. They comes with all new hardware, but if you look up in here, right in here, to get these out at this angle, it's just 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. So we'll grab that. It should be some Torx, and we'll whiz that right out. All right, so we got them all in. It was pretty easy. It's just a T45 for over here, and then a 13 millimeter for the nut up top. And then the kit comes with all new hardware, so you have to do all the new hardware. And then this ball joint, holy crap, is like so stiff. That other one was all blown out and destroyed. So it's going to be a big improvement. So we're just going to now put it all back together and tighten it up. So we got everything bolted up, but now we're going to start lowering it and see exactly how low this is going to get with the front and rear not done, but at least this side, because I need to put tension on it to start tightening all the other bolts. So we'll lower it and see how low it actually is. So it's not bad. It's not too low. It's not too high. I think it would be perfect for straight driving, because remember, these are not adjustable. This is basically like supposed to be a factory height. Nothing crazy. And the car has to set a little bit, and we got to do the other side. So we're going to start knocking out the other side, and then it will probably show a little bit better. All right, so I drove the car around for a little bit. It feels smooth. The suspension feels good. I mean, we'll see how, like, time will tell, like, over weeks and months of how this inexpensive setup works, or how long it lasts. But for all in all, the height, like, it's not too low. You get a couple fingers in there for the rear. And then for the front, it's kind of the same. Yeah, it's a little bit higher up on the front, but I'll drive it around some more, kind of get everything to settle. But it's definitely, like, it's not as cool looking as my E55. Like, let me show you the E55. So the E55 is fully adjustable, so you see how I, like, purposely got this to sink in the rear, and I can adjust everything. This is just, you bolt in, and this is what it is. So I'm going to try to do, after a couple weeks, do a whole nut and bolt check to make sure nothing was loose on there. But so far, pretty happy with it. So guys, hope you liked this video of me doing the inexpensive conversion to go from springs, coils, whatever you want to call it, from airbags to springs and coils. This whole kit and everything, even with the ball joints, was still right around $500. So it is a lot cheaper than doing the BC setup. But I will say this, for install wise, the BC setup for me personally, I like doing that because I have full adjustability. This one, it just is what it is. But this whole car, the whole purpose was to not worry about race car-ish, this and that, making it go super fast, just to do like a traditional bolt-on, what a lot of people do with inexpensive parts, nothing crazy, just stuff that's easy to put on that will help the resale value of the car. Because with a full adjustable stuff, this does take a while to get all set up, of just driving around, move it up a little bit of here, move it down a little bit of this. This is just, I install it, I drive it, and it's completely done on that aspect. Hope you guys like it. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, throw a comment down, and I'll catch you guys later.
Weird.